Jesus explained the truth about Jacob's ladder. The story of Jacob's ladder has fascinated people for many years. The expression Jacob's ladder has developed into a common phrase. It has been used as the title of a movie, a book, a flower, and even as the name of an electronic device. But where did this phrase come from in the first place? In Genesis 2, the phrase Jacob's ladder is mentioned. Jacob, the future father of the nation of Israel, was on the run from his twin brother Esau. In Genesis 25, we learn that Jacob had tricked his brother Esau into losing his birthright as Isaac's firstborn son. As it turned out, all it took for a famished Esau to give up his inheritance to his little brother was an offer of soup. In Genesis 27, Jacob upped his game again by impersonating Esau to deceive his aged and nearly blind father into blessing him. Combined, these deceptions transferred to Jacob both the physical and spiritual blessings of the family lineage. Jacob's theft of Esau's blessing and birthright caused tension between him and his older brother. Because of this, the Word of God says, Genesis 27:41. So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father are very near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." Esau meant every word he spoke. Knowing this, Esau's mother, Rebekah, sent Jacob to her brother Laban for refuge. Jacob hoped to find a wife and establish a new life there, safe from his brother's fury, with his father's permission. Genesis 28:5. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram, to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. Jacob decided to camp out under the stars, alone and on the run, with nothing but a rock for a cushion. At this time, Jacob's heart was probably filled with regret for the past, loneliness in the present, and uncertainty about the future. But then, the story takes a momentous turn. Genesis 28:11-22. And he came to a certain place, and stayed overnight there, because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down there to sleep. He dreamed that there was a ladder, stairway, placed on the earth, and the top of it reached out of sight toward heaven. And he saw the angels of God ascending and descending on it, going to and from heaven. And behold, the Lord stood above and around him, and said, "I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father's father, and the God of Isaac. I will give to you and to your descendants the land of promise, on which you are lying. Your descendants shall be as countless as the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and the east and the north and the south. And all the families, nations of the earth shall be blessed through you and your descendants. Behold, I am with you, and will keep careful watch over you and guard you wherever you may go. And I will bring you back to this promised land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Then Jacob awoke from his sleep, and he said, "Without any doubt, the Lord is in this place, and I did not realize it." So he was afraid and said, "How fearful and awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gateway to heaven." So Jacob got up early in the morning and took the stone he had put under his head, and he set it up as a pillar, that is, a monument to the vision in his dream. and he poured olive oil on the top of it to consecrate it. He named that place Bethel, the house of God. The previous name of that city was Luz, almond tree. Then Jacob made a vow, promise, saying, "If God will be with me and will keep me on this journey that I take, and will give me food to eat and clothing to wear, and if he grants that I return to my father's house in safety, then the Lord will be my God. This stone, which I have set up as a pillar, monument, memorial, will be God's house, a sacred place to me. And of everything that you give me, I will give the 10th to you as an offering to signify my gratitude and dependence on you." This is Jacob's first supernatural encounter with God, and it parallels Abraham's in Genesis 15. It's also worth noting that Jacob is nearly the same age as Abraham was when God told him to leave his home and travel to a new land. A ladder set up on the ground. This is more accurately expressed as a ramp or staircase. It is similar to a mound built against a walled city. Jacob did not simply receive a vision from God, he also acquired a message from God. The word for Jacob confirmed the promise made to Abraham and Isaac. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and all the peoples of the earth will be blessed through you. This is the first time Jacob has heard God's promise. It wasn't new information, but it became real for him when he realized it was God's promise. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he knew exactly what had happened. He concluded, "Surely the Lord is in this place." He concluded, "And I did not know it." The place had not changed. It was still a desert, with only a rock as a pillow. But God appeared in that place. He appeared to Jacob in his brokenness and weariness, because he needed Jacob to reach the end of himself before relying on God. We know Jacob had a new encounter with God because he was afraid, not of Esau, but of the one true God. A greater fear had driven out a lesser fear, because God's power had triumphed over Esau's power. Jacob had dozed off in a certain place, but after seeing God, he awoke and gave the location a sacred name, Bethel. What was once a dark place was transformed into a holy space. Nothing had changed in Jacob's situation. All that had changed was Jacob's new vision of God. And it changed everything. The pagan city of Luz was transformed into Bethel, which means house of God. Jacob poured oil on top of the rough pillow stone, transforming it into the cornerstone of a God-centered altar. He sanctified this dark place, invisibly recognizing the supernatural at work, right there in the harsh natural world. Even though Jacob had pulled off the ultimate heist by claiming the family line inheritance for himself, God wanted him to understand that while he was God's chosen heir to fulfill God's promises to Abraham to multiply his descendants into a great nation that God would call his own, God was in charge, not Jacob. The plan would be carried out in God's way, not Jacob's. It would be some time before Jacob fully grasped this truth.